guys all week, then also to sing you a little medley later on, so stay tuned for that. So, good afternoon, guys.
Hello.
Feeling happy?
Good, yeah.
How's something
I'm
here?
feeling a bit overwhelmed. Yeah. Like the last time we did a web chat, it was like in a little room with somebody on a computer tapping away with one of the little webcams on it.
Quite different.
Yeah.
It's not really a web chat, it's more like a...
Like a TV studio.
It is a TV studio. Yeah. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
It's you know.
It's very nice. Okay.
They didn't have iPads when we first came on.
What did they have?
Even like,
So obviously you guys are on the you happen about it. How's it going?
well, yeah, it's really good. Results right now, well, I thought they'd probably be one of the best now. So sharing things again and 911 a week. Was kind of like a not one found cheese, but it was really good.
Yeah. And you have a new single coming out, part.1. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about it.
They didn't
write her. I mean, we were known for writing like One Love, Fly By, All Right, Breathe Easy, Guilty, a lot of the songs we wrote, but we did accept songs like Associated Through the Host version, that was a good one. And then, but we basically heard this song and we just wanted to sing it, and I think the song, it fits on the album, it's a lot more grown up. I think it's the content of the song is about, being in a relationship. I think we've all been there when you've been in long-term relationships where you've got to fight it, whether it be marriage or just being in a long-term relationship for 5 years or whatever. And I think that's what it's about, You've got to try. You've got to try. It's like the one line is when you try to make two wrongs right. I think that's quite poignant in the song.
We'll talk about your album as well, but that's on. We'll start with the questions now. Okay. So the first question comes from Katie. Hi, Katie.
Okay.
She says, now that you're all older, do you find it harder juggling having kids and being family men with being employed?
Well, you look at the Loose Women lot, they're all mums, aren't they, most of them? They juggle being a mum and obviously they've got a much harder job than us. But for us, being in the public eye, we've all got kids and stuff, it's fantastic. Our kids can actually see what we do for a living. Because apart from Simon, if I'm correct in saying, none of our kids were born first time around when Blue was first about. So it's nice to see what their dad's doing now. It's mental.
I think it's hard for me, like when I speak to my little boy and he'll be like, Daddy, can you come home and play Robot Wars? Because we play Robot Wars and I've got to be like, and then we have to pretend that I'm a robot, and then he sends the dragon or whatever he comes with him. And it's hard when I'm away, and I kind of, I miss those times because we get so busy, and that's the hardest thing for me when he's asking me to come home or get in the bath with him and play and run around with him, and that's hard. I find that difficult.
Does he understand that you're...
He's 4. He thinks that I go up and see Puss in Boots in the clouds, and I have to pretend to see Puss in Boots. I have to go, meow, and he goes, is the egg there? And I just see Puss in Boots. So you've got to see it. If you've got kids, if you've got kids, you've seen it 100 times.
Fair enough. Okay. So the next question comes from... I'm not quite sure. Amy wants Nigel, apparently. Hi. It says, what do you guys think about collaborating with other bands, for example, the Backstreet Boys?
I love the Backstreet Boys. They're like one of my favourite bands, one of my favourite boy bands actually. And I'll be wicked to do a collaboration with the Backstreet Boys.
They're like the older version of Blazing Squad though, wouldn't it?
5 on 4.
Be great though.
Older Blazing.
Okay,
Yeah.
is there anyone you'd love to collaborate with or have featured on your songs?
Babyface.
Stevie Wonder and Sir Elton John, where do you go?
Okay.
We kind of set the bar quite high for ourselves. But if you're talking about anyone in today's music, probably someone like Nicki Minaj or something, or one of my old favourite rappers is Ludacris. I'd love to get a 16 bar of him and basically put 4 bars next to him and say that I'm rapping.
Fair enough. Okay, so Okay.
Right,
She says, my friend and Blue Lover Shell just had a major operation and is in hospital, and I truly appreciate you to say hi to her. Say hi to Shell.
Hey,
Hi,
get well soon.
Okay, Annie, getting to the next one, says, hi guys, are you nervous about making it this time round? Is there so much great talent around at the moment?
Yeah, there is.
good question.
There is. I mean, there's quite a lot of boy bands, and what's really nice about the industry now is that pop's back. You know, thanks to the shows like X Factor and the Voice and stuff like that, and they produced the One Directions, and actually the ones they didn't go down that route, did they? So that was nice to see a boy band be allowed to come through the old school way, but more the better, I say. You know what I mean? Because like music is so accessible now that I think you need a lot more bands to come out and produce more music.
I believe in us. I don't want to sound egotistical, but I believe in us as a vocal group. Like, we do take our vocals really seriously, and we do write our own music, and we always have done. So, I know there's a lot of talent out there, but I'd like to think that we can still stand up against a lot of people out there and still perform and shock people, and people be like, wow, these guys can really, really sing and give their all when we do concerts and stuff, because we do.
Do you think at the moment there's another band that are like you in that sense, that have a really strong vocal ability?
I don't know, because I've never seen these boys live, any of these bands live. But if they can do it, and especially like the Wanted Boys and One Direction Boys actually doing so well in America, and you've got to be singing live in America. Back in the day, we used to speak to other bands who was doing well in America, and we used to say you've got to sing live. So if they're doing it, they're obviously doing it right. So
Very tough market.
to answer your question, maybe yeah.
I think Harry Styles has got a really good voice. I really like his voice. He's got a really, really unique tone. And Zayn has got a good voice. So I think them boys can actually sing. And it took me a while to get round to hearing them and actually distinguishing between their vocals.
It's also very rare as well, because obviously the way the One Direction Boys, we all know, was on the X Factor. And I think, if I remember, they were solo artists, and then they got put together as a band, and it's very much kind of blend. See, the thing about us was, we started the old school way, we auditioned and boy bands and whatever, was all in bands, and then we just knew that this was going to be right. When we clicked, when we first started recording, say, If You Come Back, the blend that we had in that chorus, it was magical. But I hate doing that, but it was, do you know what I mean? Because we just had that blend, didn't we, boys, and it was just beautiful, and I can't imagine being with another band. It's weird. It's so weird, because we've got that.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
That tone, I think that when we record, it's like I've got a higher tone, so the boys, we've all got kind of deep tones as well in a certain way. So when we all sing, it kind of makes it compacts, you know what I mean?
Stargate were probably the people that discovered that for us and made that point with All Rise. I mean, the way we have to sing that chorus, like that one, pretty right, it's like, you really want to sing like that on the mic, and then that's what you hear. If you actually listen, that's exactly how we're attacking it. And it was, and that's now our sound, and I think it's something that we as Blue are very, very proud of. We used to take the mickey out of Lee and ask him when his voice was going to drop, when his balls were going to drop. Because he used to be so high, we were like, how can you get that high? Are your balls dropped? And he'd be like, I don't know.
I think my voice has got deep enough, but I still sound like that when I talk. I feel like a cross between Rodney and Elmo.
But have your voice dropped now?
I think so.
You hope so?
I hope so. But no, I can get really high.
Yeah,
I've had two kids. Yeah, exactly. I think they definitely work. But I do get really high, and it's great. But I try and keep trying to. If anything, I try and broaden my tone to make it more, so I don't sound like a rat being swilled all the time. You know, like.
Right, Eiffel 65, hello.
Eiffel 65?
Yeah.
Blue,
Again, Eiffel Tower.
Eiffel and Eiffel. Yeah, they've done Blue.
Yeah, they did. That's just, they're sending you a message. Anyway, I want to know, would you do Eurovision again?
I think we would be opposed to it in the sense that it didn't
hinder us.
No, we got a record deal out of it from Germany, around Europe. It made everybody aware that we were back together in Europe, especially in the countries that it's hard to necessarily get out to these days, because you don't have the TV shows anymore. You know, like the Top of the Pops that we used to do, it used to go around everywhere. You're quite limited these days to get out, to get seen in these countries. And the Eurovision for us kind of put us back on everybody's mind in Europe. It was about 125 million people watched it, and you know, from there we've had a lot of gigs now from the Eastern Bloc. We go out to Russia and all those countries quite a lot, and it's great. That's mainly because of the Eurovision for us. So I wouldn't be opposed to saying we would never do it again, but I think we've moved on from that time. We enjoyed the experience, and here we are 2 years later with a great album, which we're getting ready to release in the UK. We're really excited about that, and everything happens for a reason. It was an experience for us, and here we are today.
I hate losing, so no. I'm very competitive, and we went in. You were quiet, man. Oh man, it was all. We went in all guns blazing. Flying that flag was absolutely amazing, but we lost. We lost.
So it's got like. Romania give up Korean, and Simon's face is like. We got 10 points straight away, and we was like, yeah, that was it, we never got it. We got 12 off Bulgaria, and we've never been there. So,
you know the funny thing the other day, but I was just telling a story because it was really funny. We was going down a walk in a bobsleigh. I know it sounds mad, but it was in Germany. Let's put us in a walk, and we go down a bobsleigh. Okay? Now, stick with me here, right? It was in Germany, so we're going down, and we felt like we were going so fast down this bobsleigh, and I did bottle it, and we went down, and as we come down, someone went, "You're first," and we went, "Yeah," and we got out to the camera, we're like, "Yeah, this is all live," and then they went, "No, we said you're live." It was like the most embarrassing thing, because they're thinking, why are they celebrating?
They're used to it. They're used to losing. That's first place for us, so you always remember who was first and who was last.
So the table upside down.
The things we do.
There's one walk.
There's like 4 walks, but they link to each other, and they fit you in it, and they obviously pad it up. But you go like 110 miles an hour on a walk.
It's one of the best things I live riding bikes. I ride a lot of motorbikes. It was the craziest thing. What things we do, eh? It was fun.
Brilliant.
Great job.
Quickly. So, Gina from Nottingham.
Hello, Gina from Nottingham.
She said, Lee, you give your advice for One Direction in an interview with the Sun. Do you wish someone had advised you on the load of things that you got in the band?
They definitely should have. Yeah, cool. So I mean, the thing is, I think the reason why I give advice, or we give advice, not just me. I think they just quoted me, but we did actually always collectively as a group with it. You do make mistakes, and you do get into a place where you are very, like, kind of, your blinkers are on, if you know what I mean. Like, you don't see the wood through the trees sometimes when you're at that age. And I definitely, was crazy when I first got into it. But I was crazy before I got into it, so I've got no excuse. But it was really the point that if I could bestow some of the knowledge that I have now onto groups like that, I could definitely give advice and say, maybe not tell you how to live your life, but just steer away from this or steer away from that. Not from saying don't go out, get hammered, have a laugh, but on a business level of the things, because you get a lot of people around you and you don't really know what you're signing sometimes, or you don't know what you're doing. I mean, I remember us signing stuff and I didn't know what the hell I was signing. Like, whether it be an autograph or a contract, it was just an autograph to me. I just say, I got a smile face like that just for a laugh. And I didn't realise that it was actually damaging. Yeah.
You know what? I mean, the boys will learn. They're growing up. You can't really. When you're that age, I mean, don't get me wrong. We was giving advice. We had the best tour manager in the business. Like we like to say, Johnny B. He looked after Broth, the whole thing. E17. And he told us about the ups and downs that those groups went through. And so we had the advice, but it depends on whether you're actually listening.
Yeah.
And taking it on board. And when you're that age, you have to take it all on just know the people around you.
Yeah.
That'll be the best.
Do you have anything fun to regret?
No regrets. No regrets. No regrets. I think we look back now and we look at the people that come out of the woodwork that try to manipulate the situation. You know, if they see cracks in a band, certain people come in and they think, right, I'm going to try and take one of them away, and you know, it adds a better story for bands maybe split up. You know what I mean? It's just the way of the business sometimes, and I guess there's a lot of, we call them yes people out there. You know, you just say, all they want to do is just say yes to you. You're like, really? And they say, yeah. And you're like, wicked. But, you know, they're the people that are dangerous because, you know, they don't really follow up with the yeses, and then you realise, actually.
And when it ends, especially, you know, people advising you and like Dan said, you had just yes people all the time when the band split and stuff. And, you know, for me personally, I didn't know where my head was at. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like someone saying you're going to be performing at the Royal Albert Hall, Carnegie Hall. The only hall I was heading for was Soddle. Do you know what I mean? So you just realise that you just missed your pals. You know what I mean?
Good one. That was very funny, Anthony.
Well done. Yeah. Everyone clap.
Why?
More enthusiastic clapping from the audience, I think. There's an audience here.
It's not getting Asia here. When you go to Japan and Asia and stuff like that, they're really polite, and when you always get the interview like, okay, now you can clap, and they're like, and stop, and then they signal us, yeah.
Okay. The next question comes from Magna, who wants to know, what do you think of Bonnie Tyler's chances in Eurovision this year?
I think Bonnie Tyler's got a great voice.
I don't think about the voice though.
Yeah, it's quite political, which we found out. We found out it was a lot more political than we actually anticipated and we thought. And you know, obviously you always get Greece, Cyprus every year, you know, and especially the Eastern Bloc, they always kind of vote for themselves and stuff, which is quite political. And you can't really beat that. So I think you just got to go in there and just do a great performance and be your country proud, and you know, and put on a great show. That's all you can do.
Like my headmaster used to say in school, it's all about taking part.
Yeah. And you want to win. You want to win. No, it's not about winning.
You want to win. You want to win. And we wish you the best of luck. No, it was a really good experience. So, good luck, son.
It is crazy though. The Eurovision is like this crazy Eurovision bubble that you go in. They have something called the Eurovision Village, and we got asked to go around to, remember that pub? The Irish pub they had to go into, and it's just crazy. It's like some cult TV show that's been going for years, obviously, but you get like crazy people all there, and they're so into it from all around Europe, and they're so hardcore, like Eurovision fans, like proper hardcore fans, and you just go around.
You're out there.
We just went, we were just like, right. A lot of the clubs and bars we went into was a bit like the Village People convention. It was all, you know what I mean? Remember that we went to? It was just like, okay.
We wish Bonnie, like, you know, amazing luck, and hopefully she'll have a great time, and hopefully England will come.